Hey everybody! Well, today we're going to take a look at this really cool looking kit. Now this is from Rokr. I've built a lot of different things from Rokr. If you followed my channel, you know I do a lot of these Rokr kits. This one is really neat. This is the Emperor Scorpion. It's like a mechanical scorpion. It looks like it's got some armor and stuff on it. This is really neat. It's very similar to this set. I did a video on this a couple of years ago, and it's very similar to this, where all the pieces are painted. You don't have to do all the crazy painting on this. You can see all this detail. I'll go and turn this on. So you can see the wings flap on this. And not sure you're going to be able to see all this because the lights might drown out some of the details here. But let me turn this down. See how there's lights down inside there? Let me turn down this light. There we go. See, look at that. Oh, now you can really see it. There's some moving motors and shafts in there. You can see those blue and red tubes are glowing. The little amber lights up at the top. You can see the little laser blinking. This was a really neat set. I really enjoyed it. Very cool. So I think that this Scorpion is going to be similar. Now, I'm not sure it's going to be quite as technical as this one, though. So this one looks like it's got the same stand. It's got the touch-sensitive button. Probably runs on a couple of AA's if I can recall. You can see all the stuff going on here. So this thing is going to spin. The tail has some lights up here, which look really good. I think it says there's a turbine engine body. I'm thinking that's going to spin in there. I'm not really sure. Look at all that fantastic detail on here. Here on the back, it kind of gives you a technical schematic of it, which is very neat. Kind of talks about the different stuff in there. But this is going to be a fun build, I think. The last one was pretty challenging. This is a 4-star level. But let's check out the parts. Okay, so here are the parts. Now, first of all, I just want to show you, this is kind of cool. They give you this nice little kind of looking, I don't know if it's like a poster or something, but it's made out of that paper that kind of, you can see through it. Just a little bit of artwork that they give you. All right, so now let's take a look at these parts. So let's start with these. Oh boy, these parts are so good looking. Look at this. They're all painted already. You got the nice details, which I love it. I will say that the older I get, the less the less patient I am with painting models and decals and stuff. I guess, I don't know. I find sometimes a lot of these kits can be so frustrating, but these kind of kits, look at that. I mean, everything's ready to go. You just snip them off the sprues and snap them together. I don't think you glue any of this. You might have to glue some of it. But look at that nice detail in there. Look at that. Oh, God, that looks so good. Really nice looking pieces here. Let's check out these. I'm not sure what all of these are, but I like the metallic colors on this. Here's the stand. So it is the same stand as the beetle that I showed you. Here's some more right here. Ooh, these are soft. This has a really, see how that's flexible? These are different than those. Those have the harder plastic. This is like a soft plastic. Look at that. I think these are the legs. I had a hard time with the legs on that beetle, if I recall. Hopefully that won't be the same issue with this. Look at that. These are really nice copper pieces. Wow, that looks so good. Those parts are fantastic. Now these, I didn't take these out because I don't want to get them screwed up or mixed up, because you can see they're labeled here. But these look like the claws. And the tail part, I'm not sure what that is. So well, this looks mainly like the tail. There's a wire right here, so the lights are going to go up inside there. I like that it's pre-wired already, so you don't have to mess around with all of that. And then we also have this box. Let's see, inside here, see if I can do this one-handed. Okay, so here we go. So in here you've got the tools of the trade. You got the nice screwdriver. That's a pretty decent screwdriver too. Sanding stick, some tweezers. Let's see, what do we got here? Some screws. Everything's labeled. I love it. Ooh, what are these? Look at that. That's some nice shiny gold things right there. Wow, I don't know what those are. Let's see. There's some more screws here and the little Rokr nameplate. And then here is the electronics. That's very good. So everything's wired up already. It's just plug and play, which is great. I love the plug and play stuff. Oh, there's a circuit board in here too. Let me see if I can There it is. There's some motors there. There's two right there. So I'm guessing that rotary engine thing is going to spin as well as the claw. And then I'm not sure what these parts are. Some gears there. Wow, this is really cool. All right, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, it looks awesome. And if it's anything like that Beetle kit, then this should be a pretty spectacular kit. Okay, so before I get too far into this build, because you can get really carried away with it, I just want to say I am loving this so far. Everything's going together really, really good. So here we've started on the motorized claw. Now you're going to test the electronics first. That's the first thing they do, is to make sure that the electronics work, the lights and the motors and everything. Just make sure that when you plug in this piece right here to the base, you push it in all the way. And then you'll have to unplug them again to put the rest of it together. This whole claw section, the motor's inside here, but it's you have to kind of wind the wires through. And down here, there's a piece of shrink wrap on the wires. And I suppose if you want to heat that up and shrink it down, you can. It'll make it easier to squeeze in between the tight spots inside here to feed the wires through. But look at the detail on this. This is very, very cool. And so a lot of this gets screwed together. You can see the screw holes there. And then the pieces that don't screw together just friction fit, and they fit really nice. You just push them in there. Yeah, and also the thing is when you are cutting these pieces from the sprues, just make sure that once you cut them off, you like maybe take a hobby knife or the sanding stick and just kind of make sure you file off or cut off any of the leftover plastic on there, because that way everything fits right, especially when you're putting two halves together. You don't want gap. Well, that gap is supposed to be there, but I'm referring to like some other gaps. And they mentioned it too, like on this part of the instructions, they tell you to make sure you cut off any extra bits right there. So the instructions are very clear. I'm working on the head here. You can see there's a motor inside this. Or actually, was that a motor? Yeah, there is a motor in there. That must be for that like turbine thing in the middle. But this is the head. Look how cool this looks. Got these nice little pieces like right here. There's some really small pieces in there, but they really add to the design. Like on this one, you got these little pipes right here. These were really nice looking. That copper color. I've always liked copper. So yeah, very cool so far. I'm really loving this build. I just hope the rest of it goes good. All right, well, I'll show you more when I get it done. All right, so I'm making pretty good progress on this. It's going together really, really well. So here you can see all these body sections in here, some of the wiring that comes out. There's the claw attached now. Here's the bottom. These, you can see those screws in there. All of that interior section gets screwed into there. A little bit tricky getting this piece connected to this piece because there's some gears in there. There's 3 gears. It's not really bad at all. It actually fit pretty decent, but you're going to have to kind of push this in at an angle and then kind of slowly slide it in there. Now, when you turn this piece, see how the silver section is turning as well behind here? So that's how you know that you've got it connected properly. You don't want to put the screws that attach the gears. You don't want to tighten those too tight because otherwise they just won't turn. But they're flanged screws, so it's to help prevent that from happening anyway. Look at that wonderful detail in there. So cool. All right, so I'm very pleased with the way this is going together so far. All right, so this part was pretty challenging, trying to get the tail on. So when you are ready to put the tail on, just before you do that, you got to get this circuit board in here, and it's not the easiest thing. In fact, I got to push this down a little bit more. It fits in these slots, but there's all these wires, and you got to tuck them in between those two holes right here. And you also have to kind of tape those wires together. They do give you some tape to wrap all that up, but man, that was tough trying to get that in there. It was really hard because it's just I don't know, it's just really tight back there. But I think I got it, hopefully, and I'll have to straighten that board out a little bit more. But there's some slots that it fits in. But so far, everything else has been great. So just know that when you get to this point in the kit, that is going to be a bit of a challenge getting that part all done right there. And here it is, all finished. Oh, yes. Look at how good this looks. This is very, very awesome. I just love it. So you can kind of see all the details. I'll get a close-up of this so you can kind of see all the cool stuff that's in there, but this is such an awesome looking thing. Absolutely love the copper coloring on this. There's a lot of cool little details on it. Went together really good, really good. The only issue I had was that back section here, and that was actually not bad. And when you put this back cover on here, the final cover, you do have to get the top part of the circuit board in the slot that's on this top piece. That's a little tricky. It might have been just the way I put it together, because the circuit board, as you saw in that last segment, kind of angled this way a little bit, and I had to kind of push it forward, and I was scared I was going to break it, to get it in that slot, because you do have to get it in the slot for that to fit right. But it might have been just the way I built it. But things are really packed pretty tight back there as far as the wires go. But look at how gorgeous this thing is. It's so cool. Now this tail is adjustable. It's got little ratchet points in here, so you can actually, sorry, I'm out of focus there. You can actually, straighten the tail out if you want. I definitely think it looks better when it's pointed forward, because that's kind of the way you usually see a Scorpion. You can have it go down pretty far too. But I try to make it as even as I can get it here. And then maybe raise this up a little bit right here. There we go. This one here is like a little bit tight. But you can kind of see how that looks. That is very cool. All right, let me show you some cool close-ups. Now, I absolutely love how it looks like it's some kind of armor-plated tank almost. So starting with the head here, you can see all that nice detail going on in there. So that is all painted, thank goodness. You don't have to mess with it as far as painting goes. Sometimes there's a little bit of details in there that you're not expecting. I love that little laser that does light up. I'll show you that here in just a minute. A little lighting. This turbine turns this way, and that one turns the opposite direction. It's very cool. This piece here, this was kind of an interesting thing. You stick this on. It's like got double stick tape on the back of it. It's almost like a piece of leather or vinyl. I'm not sure, but it almost feels like leather. And you do have to make sure you get it on here straight, and you're going to have to kind of experiment with it to make sure you get this end right and this end. And I did have to trim it down just a little bit. I had to cut down, I think it was this side. I cut down a little bit off this edge to make it fit better, but it's really cool. And then you got these neat little tubes or piping right there at the top. It's very cool. Look at all that. There's even details on the turbine, because it's got copper highlights in there. Look at these legs. I love how they got these kind of shield looking things on the front. The legs are the last thing you put on, and they go together pretty good. And they're each leg is labeled so that you know which one you got to put in which hole. This is really neat. I never noticed this before. There's a little chain right there, and you actually screw in each part of that chain. I thought that was kind of a neat little detail. I had no idea that was there. Neat little piping right here again. So this claw was pretty much all one piece. You do add some pieces to it, and it just kind of pushes in. I love that you don't have to glue a hole. There's no glue on this necessary. There is the tail. And when you're putting this part together, you're going to have to kind of mess with the wire a little bit. It's not really complicated or anything, just to make sure that you got enough tightness on it so it doesn't sag or anything in there. Now this little part right here, this little window right here, I don't know if you can tell, but there's liquid in there. There's actually some green liquid inside that. That is really neat. I don't know if you can see it jiggling in there, but there's liquid in this thing. See it? And there might be liquid in there too. I'm not sure, but I think it's only in that little compartment. But I thought that was a really cool detail. I had no idea there was liquid in there. Each of these little spikes are separate pieces, and they give you extras in case you drop one, because they are pretty tiny. Here's the other side of this. Looks so good. Now it does have this little 4 print on there, but for some reason I have a little bit of a black streak of paint in there. So unfortunately that was on there. I'm guessing it was just, by mistake. Not a big deal though. I do love the gold highlights, the gold, the copper, the black. It all goes together so good. These legs, you can kind of turn them, you twist them this way, and you can adjust them whichever way you want. Not a whole lot of adjustment with it, but it still looks good. I just kind of kept mine as straight as I could. It looks really nice. Here's that big, huge claw right here. I showed you earlier how that was going together. It's got a motor in it. You'll see how it spins here in just a minute. The tail lights up here too. There's some lights coming out of there. Very cool. And then there's the base. All right, so let me turn this on because it's very neat the way it works. All right, so I've turned the lights down so we can try to get a nice view of the lights. I may have to turn them completely off. So you turn the switch on the bottom of the base, you turn it to the on position, and then you got a touch sensitive button here. Now, when you first turn it on, there's a the circuit board on the inside is pre-programmed, so it does some cool little things. Like you'll see it kind of start up at the beginning. The claw will kind of do some weird kind of turning, and the lights will have certain effects. So let's go ahead and turn this on, and I'll show you what it does. See how the claws, and then see how it's slowly starting up. You can see how that's going on inside there. And then it starts to speed up, like it's kind of getting started. So it's kind of like you turned on the ignition. Look at that cool turning. And look at this. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Now, as you leave it on, it'll start doing some other kind of animations. You can see there's a laser. It's a nice blue laser coming out of there. That is so cool. Let me see if I turn the lights down just a little bit here. You might see it a little bit better. There's a red light coming out of this claw. Now, see how it starts to do some flickering? And now it starts to slow down. And then it picks up in speed again. And it's cool. It's got like the little animations that it does as you leave it on. Like you can see how these are pulsating. Oh, that is so cool. And then see how this is kind of turning in weird ways now? It's really neat. I love that they gave it some character by having it have these kind of neat looking animations in there. Look at that. There's a nice blue light coming out of the back of that. That pulsates as well. I love this spinning turbine. Okay, now it's slowing down again. And then it speeds up. When I first activated this, I thought there was something wrong. I thought I hooked it up wrong or something, or the batteries were giving out. I'm like, yeah, they can't be giving out because they're brand new. That is so cool. Oh, I love this. I actually think I like this one better than the Beetle that I showed you earlier. What an awesome model. You know, Rokr does an incredible job on their wood kits, and these plastic kits are really cool too. They have some other ones too, but this one really caught my eye just because of the way it looks. They're starting to slow down again. And that picks up. I love how the camera, the frame rate is making that look right there. This is really, really neat. Definitely one of my favorite Rokr sets that I've put together now. I love it. Ah, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I left it on for a little bit and it turns itself off. So it looks like it runs for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I'm guessing, maybe possibly 5. I'm not sure it's that long. And then it'll turn itself off, which is great. That way you're not killing the batteries in there. So we can start it back up. I love the startup on this. Oh, so good. So good. I love that red light right there. That looks really cool. You can kind of see all this going on in here. Look at that turbine. That is so awesome. Love the lights going on up here on the tail. That liquid is lit up so you can see the liquid in there. And I love this on the top. Look at that. If I can stay focused on it. That is really cool. It's like a hazardous waste or something kind of look to it. Now it's starting to slow down again. It starts to pick up speed. This is so cool. Definitely one of my faves. Look at that light. That's a nice bright light. And look at how it looks like it's in a tunnel in there. The detail on this is just mind-blowing. They really went all out on this. It is one of the nicest models that I've ever had the pleasure of putting together because everything went together so good. So well engineered. The instructions were clear. You know, the parts were labeled. So many times I built models and I just think to myself, who the heck designed this thing? You know, it's like, you know, parts don't fit right or something like that, or the instructions are screwy. That wasn't the case with this. This went together. It was an absolute pleasure to put this together. It was an absolute pleasure to put this together. And I don't always say that about certain models. I definitely love this. So this retails for $70. I got it on Amazon. At the time that I bought this, and as of the making of this video, there was a coupon for 10% off. And so I'll put a link in the description if you want to check this out. This is not an affiliated link. It's not a paid promotion or anything like that. I bought this with my own money, but I just found it and thought it was cool. And after building that Beetle, I knew this would probably be a good set too. But boy, this one, I think this one actually surpasses the Beetle, as much as I do love the Beetle. All right, well, this is so cool. I'm very, very happy with this. Well, a big shout out to Rokr for this kit. They really knocked it out of the park on this. I'm really glad I got it. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'd very much appreciate it. And until the next time, I'll see you on the next video. So thank you for watching and have a good one.